I would call this animated logo. All right, our preset was HDTV 1080-24, which gives us a height of 1080 pixels and a frame rate of 24. You can change your background color right down here also if you kind of knew what color you wanted to use. All right, then we're going to import our Illustrator file. So I can say File, Import File. And then I'm going to drag it to my my work area or my composition and make it larger. All right. If you find that your image is a little rough around the edges, then it may be because of your resolution. Your preview resolution is at less than full, so you just want to select full resolution. All right, who remembers what we did after we placed the logo to get our edge looking a little more 3D? Anybody remember where we went for that? Tyler? It is in effects. Actually, you know what? Before we did that, we pre-composed it for a little bit of non-destructive editing. So let's just do that again real quick. All right, so now effect. And that was under perspective. Do you remember which one we used? Bevel Alpha. Good. All right. So when we select that, we can just increase our edge thickness to get that beveling effect, and then we can increase the light intensity. All right, so that was the first thing to do. Nick, I may be able to find, if I get done and have time, I'll email you your logo if you wanted to work on it, but yeah, you can finish it on Monday also. All right, and then we wanted to apply that light sweep. So that was under Effect and Generate, CC Light Sweep. All right, and I think we started animating yesterday, but I'm not sure if we finished it. So remember, when you apply that effect, there's a little target here, as it looks like, and that's the center point of the light. So if we click on that, we can move it around to see what it looks like as it's being projected onto there. So once you're happy with it, because you could adjust the thickness of it, the color, the intensity, the shape. All right, I'm not going to go really too crazy with that. You can also adjust the angle. That might be something you'd want to do. So if we wanted, and actually we're going to apply a second light sweep. So you might want to think about that angle. I'm going to make mine, I think, straight up and down, because then my second one will be more horizontal. All right, so I'm going to make mine here at 180 basically. I'll move it to the left. And here's where you might want to pay attention if you didn't get to this point yesterday when we were animating it, all right? So now it's at our starting position, all right? And we have our playhead at the beginning of the timeline here. So we're going to now say, all right, After Effects, we're ready to animate this. So we're going to press the stopwatch to establish our keyframe, all right? That's the first kind of point of change. And then we're going to move our playhead to about 5 seconds, all right? And you can use your time code also if you want to get exact with that, and put that in there for exactly 5 seconds. And now, so we're saying at 0 seconds, the center point was over here. Now at 5 seconds, we want the center point to be over here, all right? So then what that does is if we scrub through our timeline, we see our light sweeping across in that direction there. All right, so we're going to apply, so that would be animating it in one direction. All right, so then I want another light sweep happening at from 5 to 10 seconds. All right, that's our task to do next. Yes, Kaylee? All right, I'm just going to demonstrate this real quick, and then I'll stop and we'll kind of catch everybody up there, right? So I think that's kind of where we left off yesterday. So now to apply another light sweeping, we're just going to, make sure your playhead's at 5 seconds where the other one ended. So we're going to say generate again, CC light sweep. All right, so we have another center point. I'm going to change my angle because I want it to be more of like a horizontal type of light beam there. So I'm going to make that at about 90, and I can kind of see how that looks. All right, and then again, I'm going to animate the center point. So click the stopwatch, move your playhead to 10 seconds, and I'll make it exact. And then I will move my center point down. So the light is going to go across and then down from the top. And I can see that here. So it's going across and then down. All right. I'm not too concerned about the angles, but I do want to see that you have 2 light sweeps happening there. All right. So I'm going to save this now, and then I'll hopefully get everybody caught up to that point. If you're waiting for me, we are going to add a background, like a sound effect, kind of to add a little bit of, just emphasis to this logo. So if you go to the YouTube sound effect library, you can find some pretty cool sound effects in there. All right, something that would emphasize maybe that light going across. All right, so let me just name this animated logo. All right, so we're going to finish by adding a sound effect. I will also show how to maybe do like a textured background. I think that's kind of a cool effect to apply also. You can make it like rain or snow or some particle effects behind there. All right, but what I'm going to ask you guys to do is put some kind of texture behind it to kind of give it a little more depth. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a new layer here by right-clicking in our project panel and say New Solid. All right. It should match basically your composition settings, and then you can choose a color, a base color, which I kind of chose is the same as mine on here. All right. I'm going to drag it underneath because I want that color to be underneath my logo. And then we're going to go to Effect, Generate again. You have a bunch of stuff here, right? So you can kind of poke around and see. Cell pattern is kind of a cool one here. All right, so you can go in here and you can adjust contrast. You can adjust this dispersion or that type of thing. The size would give you, so like I would probably make this size in this case smaller so it's not so overwhelming. This evolution is, I think, also something which now what I think I did in the past is you can animate this this background. So what looks pretty cool too. So if you on this layer, if we click the stopwatch for evolution, I can kind of just move my playhead to where my animation ends, and I can change this evolution aspect. And now if I play it, we'll see our background ever so slightly changing. All right, but you can make it more dramatic if you want to. And actually, let's see here. It's taken a little bit. If I reduce that. It's moving very slow. All right, so that would be one type of kind of background texture. If I wanted to, and then you can just remember, whenever you have those effects applied, you can kind of hide them or you can delete them if you wanted to start over there. But again, generate, let's see another one. Let's see what threads does. So there's another type of pattern. All right, and you can kind of adjust this a little bit if you wanted to. That's threads. Let's look at some other ones here. Generate. I thought I had used fractal before, but this kind of gives me a weird type of result like this kind of, which maybe you want something like this. We have kind of like some cosmic looking things here. And you can mess around with the settings on here if you want to. I don't really like this one too much. I'm not going to use that one. But I think you can probably see that this is where now we are making some differences or having a lot of new things that we would not be able to do in Premiere. So when I get to you guys that are virtually, I don't think we're going to really, I don't know, actually I haven't really seen if this stuff is available in Premiere, but I don't really think it is. Oh, wait a minute. I think this may have been where I was looking for. That's what I was looking. All right, so that's the one I was looking for. All right, so again, you first make the solid. I don't know if you got to that point yet, Maggie. So in the project panel, you do right-click and do New Solid. So that's going to make the layer. Once that layer is created, we're going to go to Effect and Generate. I was suggesting first we were looking at cell patterns, but you can also go to Effect, Noise and Grain, and these are actually a little more subtle, and that's what I like about them. So like fractal noise, all right, we have this kind of cloud look to it, right? And we can then, I can start playing because I don't want it to be overpowering of my logo. So I'm going to reduce the contrast, and you can look at some of these things, the noise type and what that looks like. Kind of like blending modes and stuff like that. Try to find the best one there. Tyler, question? You just you drag the layer down underneath your logo. All right, I'm going to use this one for now. So we have our background, all right, and now I'm going to animate it. So that's going to be this evolution category. All right, so just turn on your stopwatch, move kind of to the end, and I'll just change my evolution, which is kind of like, it makes it like ripple kind of. So as you can see now in my background, I'd probably have to render it to see this because it's taking a long time. It's not really showing it in real time there. All right. Yep. All right, hold on. All right, so once you have, I'm just going to finish up here. That'll be the last thing. Your textured background. I think everybody got their sound effects, it seemed like. That's just a matter of importing it and dragging it to your timeline. Oh, the last, I should say, your timeline probably extends a lot longer than your animation. So the last thing I'll say here is, before we export, move your playhead to the end of like your animation, which for me is 10 seconds. All right. And now if we go to our project panel and we right click on our composition and go to composition settings, you can change your duration. All right, so mine, I want it to be 10 seconds. All right, so that's gonna, now we won't have all kind of dead space at the end. So I'm gonna save it again, and then to turn this into an MP4, we're gonna say File, Export, and we're gonna say Add to Adobe Media Encoder. We've used this before, so it shouldn't be anything too unordinary or unfamiliar. So all we'll do is once that opens, you will make sure you have your H.264 setting. So it should bring this file into here any second. Come on. There it is. Takes a little bit to get in there. All right. So now we have our H.264. YouTube 1080 full HD is good. Just going to make sure I know where it's going. Since my G drive isn't there, I'm just going to put it in my desktop for now and play it to process that through. All right. All right, so you have two light sweeps. You have the beveled edge, textured background, and sound effect. And then I would like you to upload it to YouTube and post that into your weekly summary this week for today. All right, and then so I'm going to stop talking about new stuff so that we can get everybody caught up.